That's a great garden story. Thanks for sharing it with us. Right now, we're going to be talking about medicine in our own backyards, some of it in the form of weeds. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I'm joined by Ginger Webb from Sacred Journey School of Herbalism. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, medicine in the backyards. There are a lot of weeds out there that have medicinal or useful purposes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like to use things in the backyard that either I've planted myself or that are growing up amidst everything that I planted. A lot of times those are the things that are growing even more prolifically than the stuff that I planted. So yeah, we use a lot of that as medicine.
Okay, well, we're going to be talking about things that are growing right now in the autumn in Central Texas. And people may have detected I'm a little raspy today. And it's because of our featured plant.
Ragweed.
And I'm so happy to see a blooming ragweed on the set of Central Texas Gardener.
I love how it's like blooming, but you don't see any flowers. It's because the flowers actually on ragweed are what we call inconspicuous. It means that they're usually green, and you can't really tell that they're flowering, but you can see the pollen sometimes wafting through the air, trying to make more ragweeds to irritate your throat.
Right.
But yeah, this is not the time of year that we actually harvest ragweed. We harvest ragweed earlier in the year. And it's like the gift.
You don't harvest enough of it.
I'll get right on that.
Okay.
But we harvest it earlier in the year when it's just leafing out before it's gone to flower. And then we tincture those leaves. So I make alcohol extracts of the leaves. And the leaves actually act as an antihistamine for your allergies right now. It's an amazing gift of the plant.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't be cursing all the ragweed I see.
It's kind of like, it needs to make babies and things like that, but it gives this gift beforehand if you're in the know. So, yeah.
Well, and it's pretty conspicuous when it's pollinating.
Yeah.
And anybody who takes a walk through any park in the city of Austin will see plenty of this stuff.
Yes,
right now.
There's a lot of it growing around. Yeah.
So
it's very tall too.
More than we need.
This is what we call giant ragweed. This is a very small subsection of the giant ragweed. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that some people have it in their garden and might be willing to share a little bit of water with it in the springtime before it becomes noxious.
You can take it out of your garden. It's okay. There's so much of it everywhere. That's one you can weed out.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Now, this I recognize as an enemy of mine. And it's obviously in the mallow family.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like a tropical form of Pavonia that I garden with. However, I don't know the name. What's
So I call it Malvastrum, which is the botanical name.
Okay.
It doesn't even make it into the field guides.
Okay.
So if you look in the flowering field guides, it's not even in there. So the botanical name is Malvastrum.
All right.
And I've played around with it. The mallow family is really interesting because everything in the mallow family is safe to taste or to try. You're not going to poison yourself. So there's a lot of leeway there. So I've tasted it, and in fact, I dug up the roots and I boiled them and made them into a tea. And like marshmallow, one of its relatives, marshmallow has a really lovely root that tastes slightly sweet and demulcent and a little slimy. And this Malvastrum actually also had really delicious tasting roots. They almost tasted a little bit like cotton candy. It was really interesting. And they'd be really great also for a sore throat or, a kind of infection like that.
All right.
Yeah.
So another remedy for my throat.
For your sore throat.
Okay. Not the source of the problem, but a remedy. I like that especially. Now, you brought some pecans.
Yeah.
Which are going to be common all over Central Texas right now. These are still in the hull.
Yeah.
And green a little bit. Soft still, and is there a use for these?
Yeah, for the green pecans, there sure is. So there's this traditional recipe that calls for green walnuts, and it's to make a liqueur called nocino. They call it nocino in Italy.
Okay.
I think in the Slavic countries they call it orahovich. And it's using the green walnuts, and you infuse them in vodka with sugar and lemon.
It sounds good already.
Yeah, it already sounds really good. And so I thought that a local variation on this ancient recipe would be to use the green pecans. So I think other people around town have tried it already. I haven't quite tried it yet, but definitely worth a try.
Well,
they're related trees. So.
Okay, well, pecan-infused vodka would make me happy. What else would it do for
so
me?
it's definitely, you want to use them when they're green and when
Okay.
they're not too ripe. So if you slice them in half, you want to be able to slice all the way through, and you can still slice through them right now.
Okay.
So what it would do for you, it's actually a good digestive drink. You could
Okay.
have a little nocino or a little our local pecan nocino
Okay.
after a meal to
Okay.
support your digestion. Yeah.
Support your digestion, or you could just pass out and fall asleep.
Just to enjoy.
Right.
Just
okay.
to enjoy, yeah.
Now, I was curious to see this little branch of peach leaves.
Yeah, so for me, this is actually, I wouldn't say that it's a weed, but these were
Sure.
volunteered in my yard.
They volunteer all over the place.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
thought I was special. The
You are.
squirrels.
You are.
My squirrels planted them.
Right.
And so I really enjoy using peach leaves as a summer tea. They're really soothing and cooling, especially when you're just really hot, even September, right? It's hot here in
Yeah.
September and October still. And they help cool you down and kind of relieve the irritation that the heat can bring to not only
Yeah.
your body but to your mood.
The heat
so
and the ragweed, yeah.
peach leaves are a really kind of delicious cold tea to drink.
Well, that's good to know, and you know, and we all need to cool down during our 8-month summer, right? So
Yeah.
peach leaves it is, and you just brew them fresh, or do
Well,
you
no,
dry
I would
them?
dry them. I dry
Yeah.
them and save them and brew them dried up.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can also tincture them, so I make alcohol extracts with them as well. And then
Okay.
that alcohol extract, I could add a little bit of honey, and then it tastes like almond deliciousness as well. And it just makes you feel happy, cools that irritation,
Yeah.
calms you down. It's relaxing also. Yeah.
I gotta ask how you got interested in all this.
Well, you know, I think it was a combination of being interested in health and being interested in the environment. And I stumbled upon herbalism, and I just loved it. And the people that I met were always just the most fascinating, interesting people, really bright and thoughtful and caring about the world and they care about people, they care about the environment, and I just jumped right in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you teach people, obviously. You have a school where you teach about herbalism.
Yeah.
And you lead free herb walks. Right?
Yeah, whenever I have a moment, I'll lead a free herb walk. So if you sign up for my newsletter, for instance, you know, you can find out when the free herb walks are, and
can-
those are fun.
And you can just walk through the backyard if
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
else is
Usually we'll
available.
meet at some garden, the community garden, or some city park or something like that, and just do a little 1-hour free herb walk on a Saturday morning.
Well, I know this little guy, and one of my favorite plants,
Yeah.
families, are the
Yeah.
passiflora, the passion vine. There are all sorts of gorgeous flowers in this family. What is it, the medicinal use for passion vine?
Passion flower is one of my favorite herbs to use to help you relax, decrease high blood pressure. It's antispasmodic, so it can relieve like a spasmodic headache, and especially it's just to relax and help you go to sleep. It's really, really lovely for that. Yeah.
And it's commercially available, I think.
Yeah,
too.
sure.
But you could also just grow it.
Yeah.
And then the same. And is it the foliage or the flower?
It's the foliage and the flower and the vine, the whole thing. So everything except the root. This one that I brought from my yard, which has just gone crazy wild. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
they
not
will
a
do
native.
that.
Yeah, it's Passiflora cerulea, and so I just tincture the whole thing up, and I like to leave the flowers in there as well. It just adds that
Okay.
extra energy of the flowers.
And I think, is this pokeweed? What are
No,
we
that's a little lamb's quarters.
Oh, lamb's quarters. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's looking a little droopy.
It's a little droopy.
Well, but
So in my
let's-
yard, they get, honestly, I have some lamb's quarters that are probably at least 10, 12 feet tall in my
Okay.
yard. So this is in the amaranth family. It's related to spinach, to chard, to beets, and this is
Wonderful.
basically free greens from your backyard. These are the weeds that grow. And I like to let them just keep growing all season long, and I harvest them. I just go out in the yard and I pick some and have some wild food throughout the day like that. But you can harvest them and cook them. You know, you can bake them the way you might bake kale in the oven,
really?
or you can
Yeah.
make lasagna, or add them to soup, things like that. And then in the winter, once they've gone to seed, they create these amazing habitats for the birds.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, Ginger, this has been a lot of fun, and I know that our audience is going to be crazy for this, so we really appreciate you coming on board, even though you brought ragweed. Okay?
Yes.
Great to have you with us.
Thank
and
you,
thanks for
Tom.
being on Central Texas Gardener. Coming up next, it's Stephanie.